Britain, I need to be okay, a British soldier, right? A British soldier. Anyone else? Any offers? French. Okay, the presentation is Frenchman for the Prince. That may be a clue, or it could be misleading. The point is, it's not very obvious, is it?
No.
It's not obvious. I need to give you more information to make your decision on. Sir, if you mind holding that for me. So I'll put my top coat on, and everything should become crystal clear. What does the colour say to you?
Red coat.
The colour says red coat, although the term red coat does not exist until the American Revolution. That's what the colonists will refer to the British soldiers as because of their red coats. But that term does not exist in 1746. The term, if we're looking at a colloquial term for the British government soldier, is Johnny Lobster. Or the lobster backs, the red being the giveaway. When I'm looking for a better answer than the one you've given me, you've been in this museum for a small while, and I'm looking for a better answer. I'm very disappointed, actually, in your answers so far, to be quite honest. Other British government soldier, English soldier, not happy with that. Perhaps I need to give you some more information. Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. Je m'appelle Raymond, et aujourd'hui c'est mon plaisir de vous parler d'un soldat français du XVIIIe siècle. I'm a French soldier, so what am I doing wearing a red uniform? This is the uniform of the Irish pickets. Doesn't sound very French, does it? Irish pickets. There are 6 Irish regiments fighting for King Louis of France in 1746. And a selection of those 6 regiments are here fighting for the Jacobites during their campaign. And they wear red coats, looking very much like your British government soldier. How confusing. Red-coated soldiers on both sides of the battle. And if that's confusing, so what soldier will be wearing the blue uniform on the day of this battle? A blue top coat. Who wears this? French? A French soldier. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There are 2 French regiments here fighting for the Jacobites, the Irish pickets in red and the Scots Royals in blue. Not to be confused with the Royal Scots. They fight on the British government side. This is the Scotch Royals, not the Royal Scots. Let's not get mixed up. They wear blue. Some of Bonnie Prince Charlie's cavalry also wear blue jackets. Oops, well, let's look at the British government army. Wearing blue jackets, we also have the British government artillery. 1/3 of the British government cavalry are wearing blue coats as well. So we have blue coats, red coats, tricorn hats on both sides of the battle. And if that's not confusing enough, you've also got tartan-clad soldiers on both sides of the battle, looking quite similar to each other. Thanks, sir. But as a soldier of the Irish pickets, I am a musket-trained soldier. That is my primary weapon. I do not fight like the Highland soldier who charges forward fast, aggressively, stops a short distance from his enemy, fires 1 musket volley, and charges in at top speed for close quarter combat. I do not fight like that. My regiment of, say, 300 soldiers will march shoulder to shoulder in close formation, and we will fire our muskets in a very disciplined way, which I will demonstrate with your help shortly. So how do I load my musket? Well, first of all, my flintlock musket is common to both sides in the conflict. I will take a cartridge from my cartridge bag. I will carry 24 cartridges, enough to keep me firing for 8 minutes at 3 rounds per minute. That's what I'm trained to do. I pull back the hammer of my musket to half-cocked. I bite open my cartridge, in which there is gunpowder and a musket ball. I tap a little gunpowder into the pan. I close the pan. I pour the rest of the gunpowder in the barrel. The bullet and the paper go in the barrel, the paper holding the bullet in place. If I tip the musket down with no paper and the bullet in the barrel, the bullet simply run out. Charge the musket ball and the paper down to the bottom, and I wait for the order to fire. I fully cock the weapon, and on the order, take aim, fire, I will fire my musket, and immediately reload, and go through the same procedure time and time again. To demonstrate that more properly, I will require 4 volunteers. Each will be given a musket. Step forward. One more volunteer. Well done for volunteering. I'll get the rest of the muskets. Now, I don't trust any of these people with real muskets. There we go. I'll have that. You stand behind this soldier, and a little bit, tiny to the right, a little bit too. Next soldier, behind this one, and at the end. Good. We have a slightly staggered formation. They're not in a straight line. The musket takes 20 seconds to reload. One of the systems we used in the 18th century is a system called line firing. We fire by rank every 5 seconds on my order. Now, this is the Irish pickets, a regiment made up of Irishmen or men of Irish descent. It is a French regiment. All commands will be in French. Parlez-vous français? Petit peu? No. Madame? No? Doesn't matter. If I point to you, I want you to loudly shout, bang. That's the order. First 2 ranks are always on one knee. First 2 ranks will go on one knee. And if you could point your muskets forward, please. Some will be put into prison ships to rot in filth and squalor. Some will be sentenced to indentured servitude in the plantations of North America. These are common punishments for our Jacobite soldiers, the Scots Royals and our Highland clansmen here. Now, these good people seated here are now 18th century British judges. You will give your judgment on these Jacobite prisoners. Madam, nice. Shoot them. Shoot them both. America, plantations. Transportation. Shoot them. Shoot them, well done. America. Plantations, yes. Plantations. Reasonable judgments on our Jacobite prisoners here. So let's see what actually happens. Well, first of all, let's take our clansman in tartan. He is a Scotsman. Now, King George II, King of Scotland, England, Wales, and Ireland, is his ruler. This man is his subject. Therefore, this man is guilty of rebellion against his king. He is a traitor in the king's eyes and will be treated as such. On being taken prisoner, he will be given almost no food, very little warmth or shelter. He will not be given treatment for his wounds. He may be shot, hung, put in a prison ship, sent to the colonies in America. His treatment will be extremely harsh. This other soldier here is a French soldier of the Scots Royals. He is a Scotsman, like the clansman here. So technically, King George II would also view this soldier exactly the same way as the Highland clansman. But this soldier wears a French uniform, carries a letter in his pocket saying he fights for King Louis of France. He is in the pay of King Louis of France. And so King George II looks at this soldier and this soldier, both French, and sees not a Scotsman or an Irishman, but only a French soldier. And as such, will treat us as prisoners of war. We will be given treatment for wounds, looked after quite well. We will be returned to France on a prisoner exchange for British prisoners. But hold on a second. These soldiers have fought in the same battles, taken the same risks, fought for the same cause, but ultimately they are treated entirely differently by the Crown on being taken prisoner. It's not fair. It's the 18th century, and life is definitely not fair. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the presentation on Frenchman for the Prince. Thanks to my willing volunteers, and if you have any questions, please come forward. Thank you very much.